Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And welcome to my friend Terrence Kehm. We call him TK. Thank you for joining me for this celebration of life, shall we call it, for the 2025 New York Yankees, our beloved New York Yankees. How you been holding up without baseball these last couple of days?
It sucks, dude. Even the little opening jingle there was just sad. I mean, it's
I went for that.
man.
I'm a showman, man.
Oh God, especially I'm in LA and Dodgers just beat the Phillies, so the city's kind of starting to feel a little electric here, and they're thinking maybe back to back, so it's just brutal, brutal.
Yeah. I think the Dodgers are probably going to win it. I mean, just from, just the roster, their pitching. I mean, they're Roki in the bullpen. Shohei is, not going to be quiet forever. I think that they're probably going to repeat, and they're going to be the first team to repeat since the Yankees. Let's talk a little bit about Cody Bellinger. He opted out today. Lori C says 166 days till opening day. I love that.
Mm.
So Cody Bellinger opted out as expected, as we said he was going to do all year of his final year of his contract. For those of you who are new or maybe don't know, that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't want to be a Yankee or that he, won't come back to the team or that he's unhappy in any way. It really just means that he thinks he can get more on the open market. And that is likely true given the year that he had. He had a good year. I think he's made the right move financially. I think he's going to get well over $100 million. So TK, is he a priority for the Yankees? And if so, how much do you think he's getting? How many years? What's fair?
It's tough, but I think with him also, you mentioned the money's obvious, but I think it's also the years for him. He wants a
Yep.
little security in the contract, being past 30 at this point. I would anticipate a 6-year contract for him. I think that takes him to his age 37 season, and he does play first base very effectively. So I think a team isn't too afraid to give him the extra years because they would just move him over to first once the legs kind of go playing the outfield. But for him, man, I think I'm kind of stating the obvious, but Kyle Tucker also hitting the market. It's going to set the market. I really think that he'll probably wait until Kyle Tucker signs, unless a team is ultra aggressive and they want to grab him before Tucker signs because they want sort of the being assured that they grab somebody. But I think it's going to kind of come down to Kyle Tucker, and I think Kyle Tucker is going to definitely exceed 200 million. So for Cody Bellinger, if we're talking 6 years, he just did about 25 this year. I'd say probably Judge makes 40. I want to say anywhere between 30 and 35 average annual value, depending on what the signing bonus is and all that stuff. 30, 35 mil, somewhere in there for about 6, 7 years.
So I actually wrote down 6 years, 162 million. That's a 27 million AAV. I think that's more than fair for a guy who has, some injury trouble in his past. First few years, he'd make over 30 million, right? And then the last few years, he makes in the low 20s, which I think is similar to what Giancarlo Stanton's deal is like. It de-escalates the further you get along. And that way you keep the AAV to 27. That's a raise from this year. 6 years is also, I think, more than reasonable for him. It takes him through his prime, and he can still get one more deal after that if he's still playing well, right? It gives you a chance to finish out your career. Let's say he wants to go back to LA or something for his final 4 years or whatever, or Chicago. I think you got to sign him. I think he's the perfect guy. I mean, he's one of these guys who doesn't strike out as much, and defensively, he made so many huge plays this year. He made that double play ball. He made the play on the pop-up there in the division series. He's had some really nice defensive moments. He's got a great arm. He's a great guy. He hustles. He plays hard. I think he plays the game the right way, as they say. He runs out of the box. So I want him back. We've gotten a lot of messages, calls, things like that about Boone, though. Like, people do not want Boone back. But I'm sorry to say, I think he's definitely going to be back. And I think, he's got 2 years of contract left, 2026 and 2027. I think if he doesn't win in either of those 2 years, they'll just let him walk. But I think that there's almost no way he gets replaced. I think it might have even happened already by now if it was going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. Look, does he deserve to be back is a different conversation from will he be back. Judging off of the Yankees don't really fire managers; they let their contracts expire,
Yeah.
right? They did with Joe Girardi as well, and I do at least the modern Yankees. This is not the George Steinbrenner Yankees. I definitely think he'll be back. Whether I agree with that, I've been on the show and said he's kind of a front office puppet. It's not so much maybe a puppet, but it's definitely like he executes the vision that the front office wants, and he's in lockstep with their beliefs. Whether you think that's a problem and he's a part of the problem, again, a different argument there. But for me, you know, it's kind of been 8 years of more of the same. Maybe a new voice is needed in the room, somebody who's a little bit more fiery. I think that to be the case, but just knowing how the Yankees operate, I do expect him to be back. And I do expect kind of, it's all right there in front of us. Derek has the drop. Uh,
It's
you
all right
know,
there in front of us.
I'm expecting more of that. And I would expect as well if they have another disappointing season. So let's say they don't make the playoffs, they get bounced. Anything before the ALCS, if they do not make the ALCS next season, depending on the moves they make, I do think Boone will be gone because his contract will be done.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, he's through 227 or 27, so he's got 2 years
So
left.
we don't
So
know if there's baseball in 27, but yeah.
that's true. Yes. So Stephanie McAllister says someone mentioned a lockout next year. Could that happen? It absolutely could happen. It's already happened once, and it seems like you can partially blame the Dodgers for this with the way they've been spending. A lot of teams want there to be a salary cap, and I think if the Dodgers do win this year again with their payroll, although the Mets missed the playoffs with theirs, right? So the Brewers, not a huge payroll. They got a chance to win the World Series, so maybe that kind of cools the temperature a little bit. Maybe that's who we should root for. But I think that there is a significant possibility of a work stoppage, and unfortunate, for any baseball fan. But I remember '94 when the season ended in August 12th, and they just never resumed. I remember I was like 11 years old, and they had the paper with the New York Times, and it said "It's dead," and it had a picture of a baseball. Is awful. I never want that to happen again. I never want them to miss a World Series. I can deal with like starting the season May 1st. You know what I mean? I can live with that, right? But I definitely can't deal with a whole lost season like they had in hockey. So
Yeah, I was going to bring
yeah.
and the NHL did it. Yeah.
How did that affect the NHL after that? I mean,
It actually made the game better. It was kind of they sacrificed that one season, but the changes to the league that they made in terms of the structure, because I've interned in hockey before, so I have a little bit of some knowledge on this, but the actual game as well, like changing a little bit of the rules to the game did make it more entertaining and a better product. And he gets a lot of hate, but Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, is probably the best commissioner in the four major sports out of the four
yeah.
of them. So, yeah.
Let's talk about Volpe. We talked a little bit about how he was better in the series with the Red Sox, and then unfortunately he was unable to carry that momentum against the Blue Jays. He went 1 for 15 with 11 strikeouts. He looked terrible. I mean, it was with 2 strikes, he was an automatic out. I mean, automatic. Defensively, I didn't notice anything bad against Toronto. I mean, he kept up the decent defensive play, and I think just the ability to pick the baseball is reason that the Yankees might bring him back. I don't know if you've watched my 5 Yankees who won't be back video yet, but I put him as like an honorable mention. And I think that the more I think about this, I think you got to sign Bo Bichette. I think you got to sign Bo Bichette, play him at shortstop, let Volpe, be a bench guy, let him be the new LeMahieu or the new Peraza. Teach him how to play second base a little bit. Teach him how to play third base a little bit. Like move him around. We'll have Oswaldo Cabrera, or you could just deal Volpe. Include him in part of the deal. I posted a deal on Twitter yesterday that we'll talk about in a few minutes when we get to our off-season wish list that you may laugh at me for, but whatever. But I just don't think that it's a prudent move to throw Volpe back out there and say sink or swim, because I think that essentially he is a failed baseball player. And it's sad. It's very sad. But there's not a lot of options. I mean, the guy, you can't have somebody hit 200 with no power and then strike out every single at bat in the playoffs. I mean, you just can't carry that and lead the league in errors.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, if you're going to be that bad of an offensive player, you better do something right, which is play defense. And if you're not going to play defense, then I'm sorry, you're not a very valuable baseball player. And Look, it's tough because it's the whole story, right? Grew up a Yankee fan, and you got drafted in the first round out of high school. Grew up idolizing Derek Jeter, and again, I've met him in person. He's a nice guy, but this is New York. You didn't perform. You're gonna have your first arbitration case, and you're probably going to lose because the Yankees are gonna be like, look,
He'll
hey,
settle. They won't even go to arbitration.
yeah,
He'll
they
settle.
won't even go to arbitration. They'll settle. But like, you get my point though. Like, he has no leverage whatsoever to ask for anything. He's been super inconsistent. 2024 is probably his best season out of the three so far. But he took a huge step back. And to me, at the beginning of the season, Derek, I remember saying, like, this is the year, show me something. And you didn't show me a lot. So I definitely think it's on the table to explore different options. Bo Bichette, great offensive player, hits for a high average, pesky, but doesn't play great defense. I'm almost okay with letting Jose Caballero kind of be like the stopgap, if you will, until Lombard is ready. No idea what Lombard's going to be. Who knows if he's going to be messed up by the organization? Because I almost feel like the Yankees, as an organization, failed Volpe more so than anything. Right?
We had a great comment that the Yankees should hire his dad as manager, but maybe not even as manager. Maybe make him like a bench coach or something,
Yep.
just to
Like Jalen Brunson has that with the Knicks.
yeah,
I mean, his dad's on the bench.
right.
He's been around the game his entire life, right? So I don't hate the idea, right? I don't know, man. It's just kind of sad,
Yeah,
It's like
I agree.
sad. I feel like genuine sadness for him.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming, just very early look at the hot stove. So you got my wish list right there, Paul Skeens. So here's my trade that I put up on X. It was Luis Heel, 2024 American League Rookie of the Year, 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Will Warren, 500 pitcher, but a rookie this year, very solid, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Had some really good games, very consistent. That's 2 starting pitchers for your rotation, under control, cheap. Anthony Volpe, shortstop, who may or may not, you know, be great. I mean, he could have a
I
good
think a
year.
small market would help him,
Yeah,
to be honest.
small market. Maybe he steps up a little bit without the pressure.
Yeah.
And then I am including Spencer Jones, our number 2 prospect, who had 35 home runs. That's basically a lottery ticket that, maybe this guy does turn into an Aaron Judge, right? I mean, you never know. If you develop him right, you might be able to do this. Take this raw material that you're basically handing them, some raw materials and saying, here's part of the package. We've done a lot of the work. We've unlocked a lot of power. This guy hit over 300 in AAA with big time power. See what you can do with him, right? And then I would even throw in a Dominguez and maybe even like a Lagrange for Paul Skeens, like a lopsided trade, like one of these like Herschel Walker type of deals from the Pirates standpoint, right? They get a boatload of players. They get a couple of big prospects. They get some guys who can fill out the rotation. And yes, they're trading away a generational starting pitcher who is clearly unhappy in Pittsburgh. The league does not want this guy in Pittsburgh. I would love to see Livy Dunn at Yankee Stadium every 5th day and all over our Instagram and all that stuff. Hey, call me, selfish. But imagine anybody but Cam Schlittler, right? Anybody but Cam, that's my only non-tradable. I would even give them Lombard if they wanted, but not with everybody else. But like the
Yeah, no, I
only
hear
the only no in my entire organization that I will not trade anymore is Cam Schlittler because I think he's Roger Clemens.
Yeah, no, he seems like he's the real deal. I make the deal. I would do it. I don't think the Pirates will do it because they literally have nothing. That's all they have. That's the only jersey they sell. It's the only reason people buy tickets to go see their games, watch their games. And I agree with you. I don't think he's very happy there. He's a competitive guy. I think he wants to be in a situation where he can compete every season. And this goes back to the CBA conversation, Derek. Imagine the Pirates make this trade, and they trade Skeens to the Yankees. That's going to be an even bigger argument for there is an enormous problem in baseball with big market versus small market teams, where teams like the Pirates virtually have no chance. Have no chance. When's the last time the Rockies were like legitimately competitive? I don't remember in my entire life.
So
Maybe
TK,
one
let's
year.
let's go ahead and get your trade proposals because we got the chat wanting to know who's on your wish list.
Yeah, on my wish list, I have Stephen Kwan. Um, that's the main guy I'm going to talk about, but I think he is the perfect fit, the perfect player that the Yankees would need. For me, I would trade the Martian straight up. maybe some cash. But just because the Martian has much more years of control than Kwan does, Kwan, I think, has 2 more years of control. You could even argue it's only 1 year of control just because of the 27 possibility being a lockout. But I'm looking at this. I was on Frankie Baseball's show this afternoon, excuse me. And we were just talking about how this one hurt more than last year almost, because this is the first time I was kind of like, Judge is going to be 34 next year. The window is closing. And I keep hearing the front office talk about championships,
Yeah.
plural. You got to
Final
get the
one.
first one. You got to
Yeah.
get the first one. So, they kind of have to be like, F it. Chips on the table, man. Stephen Kwan is a guy, if you look up his Savant page, I'm looking at it right now. You can pull it up if you can, Derek. But look, he doesn't hit the ball hard. The Yankees have plenty of guys that hit the ball hard. He's in the 99th percentile for K percentage, 100th percentile whiff percentage, doesn't chase a lot, sprays the ball. He's an elite fielding run value with 95%. So he's, probably a gold glover caliber player and lefty. All right, whatever. But I think, if you stick him at the top of the lineup to lead off, or, if you want to put him in the middle of the lineup, even just to kind of spray the ball around and drive runs when guys are getting on. But I think he's the perfect fit. He's exactly what the Yankees need, and you're taking strikeouts out of the lineup. And yes, I would trade Jason Dominguez for him.
I think Jason didn't hit much lower than 272. I think Jason hit about like 260 something. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
but I would make that deal. Kwan, I think can
257.
hit. Kwan, I think it can hit 300. I really do think that. Also, the deal that I was kind of formulating is I had us trading Anthony Volpe, Austin Wells, Spencer Jones, Luis Heel, and Roderick Arias to the Angels for Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, and Ben Joyce.
No
So Zach
chance.
Neto,
Don't smoke crack. No chance.
no chance.
No chance. Zero
No
chance.
chance you would do it, or no chance the
No,
Angels would
no
do it.
chance. No chance they would. Who wants Roderick Arias? The dude stunk in the minor leagues.
Hey,
I mean,
listen, you're getting Luis Heel, one Rookie of the Year,
Neto
who's
was a
a legit.
5 WAR player. You'd be lucky to get just Neto for all those players. And you want O'Hoppe. You want. I
Yeah,
mean, just ask. I mean, yeah, that you're definitely smoking some of that Los Angeles herb.
listen, listen. I like I said, you get two starting players for Volpe and Wells. You get Spencer Jones, top prospect. You get Luis Heel. You get Roderick Arias. I would even include a Chase Hampton in the deal.
Yeah.
These are just the core headline players, but I do think it's not super out of the realm of the possibility.
All right. Let's talk about Tucker. I mean, we got a lot of people talking about Kyle Tucker in the chat. Is it worth it? I mean, I think Bellinger is probably a better all-around player. He had a better year, but Tucker is younger. I think Tucker has a higher ceiling. Like, I think Tucker could have a 400 on base percentage and hit 40 home runs, but I think Bellinger's a better baseball player, right? We just saw that home runs do not work in the playoffs. I want guys who make contact, who play good defense, run the base as well. I think Bellinger's part of the solution.
Yeah, I think Cody Bellinger is part of the solution. They said it in the broadcast on Fox. They're saying he's one of those guys that hits a lot of home runs but doesn't strike out a lot. So he's with the Yankees in terms of hitting a lot of home runs. That lines up pretty well with them, but doesn't strike out a lot. Plays good defense, versatile, plays the game well, quote unquote. But Kyle Tucker is honestly a superstar player. I don't really think he's a fit in Chicago. It's cold. He was playing in Houston. That's a dome all the time. They never opened the roof. Right field is deep in Chicago. I think he probably hits 10 more home runs as a Yankee. Fields well. Look at all the red. I mean, he's a great player. Would
Yeah.
you break the bank for him though? Are you ready? What is he? 28 years old. He'll be 29 next
He's going
year.
to get
Soto,
500 million and I don't think he's a 500 million dollar player. I really don't.
yeah, no, I don't think so either. But he probably will get five. Who's giving him though? Are the Dodgers giving him 500 mil? Who's giving him 500 mil?
I can see the
Red Sox?
Giants. I can see the Giants doing it. I can see the Red Sox doing it. I could see hell. I could see the Tigers doing it. Like, oh well, no, they have. I was gonna say because they're right in their competitive window, so they're adding. But they have Kerry Carpenter, right? And I'm not sure what kind of
Yeah.
contract
Max
he's
Clark
got.
is coming. Matt Clark
Yeah,
is
yeah.
coming.
So probably not. So yeah, I mean, maybe the Giants. They got the money, right? They've got that aggressive.
Desperate for
Yeah,
superstars.
yeah. I mean, Would the Dodgers need him?
Who else do they want? Like,
I mean, we keep saying that, but it's like they have redundancy upon redundancy, like the Starship Enterprise. I mean, I think, there's a number of places that I think would be willing to pay for him. I could see the Chicago Cubs are offering him $450 million plus, to come back. Although he did get booed there this year at one point.
yeah.
I don't remember Bellinger getting booed with the Yankees. Maybe early on in the year when he was really struggling, but I would rather have Bellinger. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I might also think I'd probably want. Also, Bellinger's already been here. I know he can handle it. I'm sure Kyle Tucker can handle it, but you never know. I know that I know what I got out of Bellinger. He
Yeah.
had a good season. I know he was quiet in the playoffs, but frankly, you didn't really get an enormous sample size. Maybe he turned it on in the ALCS if they made it that far. Who knows? But he is also, you could argue, part of the reason they didn't make it to the CS. So you can go both ways. But I keep saying Trent Grisham, Trent Grisham. I would not sign
Yeah.
Trent Grisham. I'm sorry. He had a great season. Thank you very much. The guy is a career 200 hitter, fourth outfielder with a glove first guy. Like, I'm sorry. This to me was the outlier year. I think a team is going to end up giving him 100+ million, and he's going to be Aaron Hicks, and it's going to be terrible. And he's not going to make it past 3 years of the contract. They're going to end up eating it. Like, I'm sorry. There's no chance I'd give Trent Grisham a contract. No chance.
I agree. I like Trent Grisham. He's a good guy. He didn't show
Yeah.
me anything in the postseason against good pitching. Yeah, so I think you got to pass. I think you got to pass Adina. I mean, this is going to be an interesting offseason, see which way the Yankees go, because they clearly need to get better. I mean, they are a good team. I think they're moving in the right direction. I think they had a better team this year than they had last year when they won the American League. But the Blue Jays have figured out the formula to win with contact without like an enormous amount of power hitters, and I think the Yankees need to get closer to that than what they had this year. All right, let's take some comments from the audience
It's all
here.
right there in front of us.
So Ryan O'Dell says, let me give you this trade proposal. How about Wells, Warren, Heel for Adley, Rushman, and maybe one of their relievers? I think that's an overpay. That's definitely an overpay. You don't want to give, first of all, you don't want to give your division rival who lacks starting pitching 2 solid starters, right? Adley also didn't have a great year. I mean, Wells had a better year than Adley did,
Yeah.
So I appreciate the creativity, but I don't think it's a great idea. Armand says the Phillies might pay Tucker. I could see that. The Phillies, because they want to maintain that window, right? We don't know if Schwarber's going to go back. I think he will. I mean, he had 55 home runs this year, and he had a couple home runs in the playoffs. He's beloved there already, clearly comfortable. I could see him going back.
They have a lot of money. I'm just looking at their payroll here. JT Realmuto is going to be a free agent. Kyle Schwarber, obviously. Max Kepler, Jordan Romano, David. So they got a lot of money coming off the books, it seems like, this year. I've even heard rumors of them trying to move on from Castellanos, who's got one more year on his contract at $20 million. So that does make a lot of sense, actually. It actually does make a lot of sense for him to end up in Philly to pair with Harper.
Man, that would be a deadly combination for right-handed pitchers. I mean, especially if you bring back Schwarber, Harper, Schwarber, Tucker, 3, 4, 5. Holy crap, that would be nuts.
Trey Turner too.
Yeah. All right, I gotta give a quick shout out to Fox One, and we'll talk about the American League playoffs right now. Detroit and Seattle locked in a tight one. It is the 5th inning. And Seattle is leading 1-0 in that game, and the winner will take on the Blue Jays. So that'll be a good series. Either way, Mariners versus Blue Jays or Tigers versus Blue Jays. And all of the playoff coverage that you want is brought to you by Fox One. Fox One is now live. Stream all your favorite Fox programs together in one place, including all American League playoff games and the World Series, which will not include the Yankees. Who's your pick for the World Series, by the way, at this point? Is it LA?
I'm rooting for Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Seattle would be fun because they haven't
never won.
Yeah, that would be fun. It would be cool to see.
And my, you know what, my girlfriend's dad is a Cubs fan, so I'm rooting for them out of the National League.
My wife's dad is a Cubs fan, so that would be cool. It would be cool to see the Cubbies win it again.
Yeah, Cubs
Pro-
Seattle. That's what I'm rooting for.
oh, that'd be great. I would watch that. That would
Yeah.
be fun. Uh, but anyway, the MLB postseason, NFL on Fox, big noon Saturdays. With Fox News, with Fox One, you get it all live. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to fox1.com for complete terms and conditions. Fox One streaming now. And TK, what you're seeing now is behind the scenes, because typically when I read my ads, I have to do 100 takes, and I edit. I'm a good editor, so it comes out smooth, and we got some music, and we got some whiz bang. But when I have to do it live, clearly I suck at reading. It's like, today, Junior. So anyway, thanks to Fox One. We got one voicemail today. Here's Bobby.
Derek, this is Bobby the Bear, this time down here in Orlando. I love the fact that you keep doing your shows, man. Tonight's show, yeah, that's very cool. Keep up the terrific work. It's good therapy in terms of, the Yankees losing to Toronto. But anyway, I wanted to ask you, which first baseman do you think will be a better fit for next year? Murakami or the polar bear? I want to know which one would be a better fit, and then I want to know which one would become a better reality. Thank you much.
I think the closer reality would be Pete Alonso. Murakami, to me, everything I've heard is that he's a strikeout machine. Like, he strikes out a
Going to the
ton.
Dodgers. He's Japanese.
Yeah, and
Good.
look, and he's got massive power for sure. I mean, they got Freeman, but maybe he starts in AAA, right? He's young. The polar bear thing I find interesting because he's a good player. I mean, he's not a great defender, but he had 38 home runs. He's a consistent 30+ home runs. He's a good guy. The city already is familiar with him, so I don't think he'd have any trouble blending in or adapting. If you sign him, then you play Bellinger in center field, and then Ben Rice becomes your catcher. Austin Wells becomes your backup catcher, maybe. I wish I knew. I wish I was a fly on the wall so I knew what the Yankees really felt about their catching situation, because I'm not as in love with Austin Wells as everyone else is. I don't think he's that good.
Also, ABS is coming, so the
Yeah,
framing is just an irrelevant thing now. Personally, I want Ben Rice to be the first baseman.
I agree.
I think catching beats you up physically, so you sacrifice a bit of the offensive prowess there. I think he can learn first base. He's young enough and be pretty good at it. And it's not like you're solving any defensive issues with Pete Alonso playing first. And Pete Alonso in 2 years is a DH. So I know that Stanton's going to be done in 2 years, but then Judge is probably your DH, or Judge will probably rotate between. I don't think Judge as a personality also wants to be the everyday DH. I think he'll be like, okay, I'll DH half the season, but I still want to be in right or at first for the other half, right? Just in terms of the way he is built or the way he is mentally. But Pete Alonso, I'm certainly not interested, to be honest. I mean, good player, but yeah, I'm not interested. I could see the Cubs grabbing him for some reason if they lose Tucker, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think that kind of makes a lot of sense for them. Murakami, it's so hard because I've heard so many scouts say so the Nippon League in Japan is basically quadruple A. I think that's a
Yeah.
pretty fair assessment.
That's good. I've heard that.
Yeah, it's a quadruple A league, which it's true. So you don't know what you're getting. Like, first of all, and there's always an adjustment period, it seems, with Japanese players coming over. Like Yamamoto with the Dodgers, his first season, I mean, he was fine. I think battled some injuries, and now he's an ace. Kodai Senga with the Mets can't get healthy. Roki Sasaki, I mean, he was awful. Now they put him in the bullpen, and he's unbelievable. So
I was talking with Frankie on his channel. He's the new Phil Hughes. Remember when Phil Hughes went to the pen in 2009 and was just lights out? He had a 1.40 ERA from like June on with like a gazillion strikeouts. And he wasn't great in the postseason, but Roki Sasaki's kind of finding that short. I think he might be a long-term reliever, like a dominant reliever.
Yeah. I mean, in the playoffs, yes, Kershaw is hanging it up, so I do think they'll have him in the rotation next season. But for this playoff run, yeah, bullpen is ridiculous now with him in there. But with Japanese players, you just don't know. You just don't know. The tools, the power, very kind of clean mechanics, swinging. He strikes out a lot. I just lean towards no. I kind of know. Look, I know people are going to groan, but in the infield, I'm good with Ben Rice playing first, Jazz playing second, and I'm okay with McMahon playing third because the defense is there. If McMahon can hit me 220 with 20 home runs, I'll take that all day. The problem for me in the infield is shortstop. So whether you want to sign Bichette, you want to make a blockbuster trade for somebody, you want to let Caballero be the stopgap, I don't know. But to me, Anthony Volpe cannot be the starting shortstop next season. I think he will be. That's not what I want. I think he will be. But with the infield, I'm much more like they need a Stephen Kwan type. I think that really has to be the focus because he's the kind of player that they've been missing. They need a low strikeout contact guy who's going to be a very difficult at-bat, difficult to put away. That's what they need.
Well, I hope that you're right. I hope that they take those steps. TK, thanks for joining. Hopefully you'll come back on at a regular pace this winter. I have to do 2 shows a week, so I'd imagine you're going to get some calls from me. We're going to have Andy Martino on Monday. We haven't aligned up a time yet, but he just wrote an interesting article kind of blueprinting the Yankees' winter plans, or what they should be. And I'll talk to him, and I'll pitch my Paul Skeens idea, and hopefully he doesn't laugh himself off the podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks to everybody who joined. Round of applause for Mr. TK for a great season here on Pinstripe. Thanks a lot. And we'll see you guys Monday. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out nydesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.